Okay.
The stuff for the depression is really through the eyes. And those things for 20 minutes, you need about 10,000 lux a day in the morning. That's very effective for the seasonal affective disorder. That is really good. But that's stimulating a different system.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
May I continue on that thing? Should we put sunscreen on our face?
No.
On a basis?
No, don't do that. Because all that gets absorbed into your system. You want no contact lenses, no glasses, no sunscreen, because then you're blocking the skin's action. It's not producing your vitamin D then.
If I go outdoor like for 6 hours by that day.
All right, now you said a different question. Now you're saying if you have a long exposure, so yeah, you can put some on.
Oh, okay. Then okay, but not on a daily basis.
Not when you're trying to get your vitamin D.
Okay.
Good. Well, it's 3:45 and we're switching over to spiritual questions. So, these are all good questions. I want to make sure, are people here, we're still experimenting with the technology. Are people hearing okay through the internet? Those who are using it.
I'm trying to get on the internet. I've been trying for the last half hour and I can't seem to get on. I can get on live with Gabriel and I can hook up and your volume's low on the phone, but I can't seem to get the internet on.
Okay, well, maybe you can call this Michael afterwards and he can guide you and we can play with it.
I had no problem to get on. Like I pull up Michael sent me the email last month and I click there and here I go. I see.
But not everybody's as good on the internet as you are, okay? Some of us have more touch with it, okay? And so we need to help. I mean, obviously the system works. There's lots of people hooked into the internet, okay? I just want to make sure the volume is working well and so forth. So, but you can call 520-604-1262, and we'll leave this on afterwards, and we'll play with it and see what happens.
But I do have a comment on the voice. See, I do not use the internet to hear you. I use my home phone telephone company line to call you, and in the past 45 minutes, at times I could not hear. Like sometimes 5 seconds will be totally blank. I could not hear. I saw your mouth moving. I knew that you were talking, but I could not hear anything on the phone.
Well, we help people. This is a lip reading practice.
No, you were talking. You were in the middle of a conversation. I knew that.
Right.
But for some reason, my phone cannot hear you. It's a constant thing. It's
Okay.
not just one time.
Try the internet and let me know. Who is on the internet now? Is there anyone out there on the internet site?
I just clicked the link. My phone has the same problem, and in the very beginning, around 3 o'clock, there was an echo that made it hard to understand.
Right,
what you were
because
saying,
we are
that's all about the olive oil.
Right.
And I just clicked on the link, and well, I don't know. I don't want to gum it up. I didn't get where I wanted to go. But
those
I'm
of
not that
you-
computer savvy, so I don't want to take up a lot of time.
Okay. Those of you who are on the internet, are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes.
Hey, I need to try the internet. Let me
Perfect. That's all I wanted to hear. Well, that's okay. Eventually, we'll be all over to this system, but right now we're still, playing around with it. Excellent. I'm pleased that you're hearing it, and I can hear you through the microphone. That's perfect. So we know the system's working. That's the most important thing, is the system working. Okay. So now we have spiritual questions. Sure, and I'll do that. And the other thing is, we're here in San Francisco with this transmission because we're learning how to do this from around the world. And I want to thank our friend Harry, whose house we're staying at and transmitting from. And Harry, you can come on in here so you can wave to people. There we go. Thank you, Harry. We appreciate it. Okay,
You're
good.
welcome. It's my pleasure.
Okay, good. Okay, what questions do we have? And I will repeat them. Yes.
First, I have a comment. I would just like to thank you so much. I'm very touched by you extending yourself to us.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So, what questions do we have? So this wasn't working. So Anybody has a spiritual question? Well, I'm going to just let you know that this is a very special time. This is the time of Sukkot. And this morning we're doing ceremony in our little Sukkot out in the circle garden at the Tree of Life at 4:30 this morning, and it was really powerful under the full moon. But what happened is this particular time of the year, energetically, is a tremendous amount of what we call supernal Binah energy, or energy of deep wisdom coming onto the planet. So for this next 7 days, but particularly yesterday and today, there's a lot of energy. So if you want to take a little bit of time just to meditate and feel it, this is a really good time to do that. Okay. So do we have any questions? Michael, do we have any questions that are coming in?
No, not on the spiritual side.
Okay, well, one of the questions that gets asked a lot is what is the meaning of Dharma? And which is at one level right livelihood, but at another level is how do you express your sacred design. And at the highest level, the ultimate sacred design for everybody is to know God. And a lot of people struggle with this because for a lot of people it's not really clear what it's all about. It's just not clear. Now, one of the teachings Ramakrishna would say is if you don't really know your particular Dharma, take a simple job that doesn't take your mind away from what you're doing so you can focus on God. But most everybody has a gift that they need to offer to the world. And that gift doesn't necessarily have to be through your career, but often it's through your career. And that is really your sacred design. And sometimes you don't make much money at it. Sometimes you make a lot of money at it. You just never know. But it's so important to follow your heart to guide you on what your real service is in the world, because that service that you're providing is often a very specific pathway and brings the specific lessons, because Gabriel's teaching is the world's the guru. You don't have to go out of your way to get lessons. They come to you, as most people discover. That we call Guru Tattva. That's really the key. So when you find your Dharma, your right livelihood, your sacred design, the lessons you need come to you, and it helps you move to this higher level of what we call God merging. And that's really one of the most important things we can do. In this world today, people tend to focus that the purpose of life is to make money. And that's certainly the value system. Now, of who, though? It's the value system of the culture of death. The culture of death is about building ego. The more I have, the more I am. The more I can dominate, the more I am. And it has to do with separation, and it has to do with a whole way of thinking in the world that does not feed the soul. It may feed the pocketbook, but it doesn't feed the soul. So, now, what we're talking about, obviously, when we talk about vegetarianism, veganism, live food, and is a lifestyle of the culture of life. The culture of life is about feeding the soul. The culture of life is about unity. It's about love. It's about working cooperatively. And the Dharma that you choose, that it chooses you, so to speak, will take you into the place where you're feeding your soul and where you are moving into the culture of life. And that's the most important thing. And we can just play with that. When we say Dharma, well, Dharma is also what we call right action.